The Shanghai stabbing leaves 3 dead right before China's National Day. Meanwhile, the CCP is harassing Vietnamese shipping in the South China Sea. And did Tim Walz lie about where he was during the Tiananmen Square massacre? Then more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. And I told you earlier that we plan to do something we've never done before on our upcoming live stream celebrating 2 million subscribers. But we can't do it without you. I've heard from a lot of you over the years through comments, emails, and singing telegrams, but now's your chance to talk to me live. I'll be taking your calls and answering your questions. It'll be like a radio call-in show, but high-tech. Because once the show begins, I'll give you a URL where you can call in directly using your computer from anywhere in the world. So join us tomorrow night, Saturday, October 5th, starting at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Get your smartest questions ready, and I look forward to talking directly with you tomorrow. And now, on with the show. Let's start with something light and easy to digest. World War III. The U.S. and the Philippines have agreed to keep an American missile system in the island country, despite China's expression of alarm. According to 2 Philippine officials who spoke on condition of anonymity, the U.S. transported the Typhoon missile system to the northern Philippines back in April as part of combat exercises. The system wasn't fired during the exercises and was originally supposed to be shipped out of the country before October. But now, American and Filipino security officials have agreed to keep the mid-range system there indefinitely to boost deterrence. Well, I'm glad they thought about it before leaving it behind, unlike the military equipment the U.S. left behind in Afghanistan. I hope the Taliban gave them a fruit basket for that one. Of course, China isn't happy about this. That's because the missile system can fire Tomahawk missiles, which can travel over 1,000 miles, placing China within their target range. Living within range of enemy fire and watching them conduct intimidating military drills, if China had any ounce of self-reflection, they'd go, "Is this how we're making others feel? This is terrible. We should stop." Instead, the CCP is protesting, warning that the missile system will destabilize the region. U.S. officials are not publicly commenting on the issue, probably because letting your ally hang on to a missile system is kind of comment enough. But the Philippine Defense Secretary rejected China's alarm, calling it interference into the Philippines' internal affairs. He accused them of using reverse psychology in order to deter his country from building up defensive capabilities. He even called on them to lead by example, suggesting they destroy their nuclear arsenal, leave the South China Sea, and remove their ballistic missile capabilities. I mean, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house, he said. This man is my hero. But China has other concerns, like a sewage eruption during road construction in Guangxi that led to a 30-foot-high poop volcano. I truly can't think of a better visual representation of the CCP's reign over China. The pipe explosion sent a construction worker flying and damaged cars before raining back down on traffic and pedestrians. Chinese authorities blamed the mess on newly laid sewage pipes rupturing during construction crews' stress test, which doesn't paint Chinese construction in the best light. Paints it in a kind of brownish. Nobody was injured, besides maybe to their human dignity, but a few vehicles were damaged. Officials were immediately dispatched to the scene for the cleanup, but according to Metro, no details were offered to suggest what the actual plan was to get rid of the waste. As if the people of China didn't already have enough crap to deal with. And speaking of things made with shoddy construction, the United Nations. At the UN, China is warning against an expansion of the battlefield in the Ukraine war. Interestingly, a concern they never seemed to have when Russia was plowing across Ukrainian territory. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi said his country is making it a top priority to commit to no expansion of the battlefield, and that China is committed to playing a constructive role. I assume it'll be about as successful as any other type of Chinese construction. China's calling for stable relations with Japan. A bold ask, considering the recent spate of stabbings of Japanese people in China and the joint military drills with Russia infringing on Japanese territory. Japan's new Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba just took office after winning against the incumbent Liberal Democratic Party. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian told reporters last Friday that the sustained, sound, and steady development of Tokyo's relation with the Chinese Communist Party is the only right choice and in the best interest of both longtime rivals. And if that sounds like the CCP is nervous, It's with good reason. Ishiba wants more autonomy over Japan's security policies and to cooperate more with his allies in the region. Before last Friday's leadership election, Ishiba proposed the creation of an Asian NATO, which he said could pave the way for a nuclear sharing arrangement among like-minded countries or a return of U.S. nuclear tactical weapons to the Indo-Pacific region. Specifically like-minded countries, referring to countries who think, can we do something about China besides nothing and hoping it'll get better? In addition, Ishiba paid a visit to Taiwan in August, indicating that he will continue Tokyo's partnership with the island. Ishiba also backs allowing Japan's self-defense forces to fire warning shots at the forces of countries intruding in Japanese waters and airspace. When it comes to Japanese security, Ishiba ain't messing around, and the CCP is on notice. And after the break, another deadly knife attack strikes China. Welcome back. China and India are close to reaching an agreement on a disputed territory. Well, maybe. For now. A spokesperson with the Chinese Ministry of National Defense said that the two countries were able to reduce their differences and build some consensus besides agreeing to strengthen dialogue to accommodate each other's legitimate concerns. The talks concerned the disputed Ladakh area, which both China and India claim. The region has seen military standoffs and even some armed clashes. China literally has enemies on all sides. What does that say about you, Xi? But back on September 3rd, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry confirmed that the frontline armies of the two countries have realized disengagement in 4 areas in the western sector of the China-India border, including the Gaowan Valley. Talks seem to be continuing to move forward in a constructive manner. But this is the CCP we're talking about, so trusting them to abide by any deal wouldn't be wise. A knife attack in Shanghai killed 3 people and injured 15 right before China's week-long National Day holiday. The holiday is known as the Golden Week and is a time when travel is expected to surge. The attacker, a 37-year-old man surnamed Lin, was detained, according to a statement from local police from the Songjiang district. According to their initial investigation, the man had traveled to Shanghai to vent his frustration about a personal financial dispute. Now, I'm no money expert, but I'm fairly certain the best way to get your finances in order isn't indiscriminately stabbing people. Maybe try cooking at home instead. No need to bring your knife outdoors. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is coming under fire for misspeaking about the timeline of a visit to China. The former representative and current Democratic nominee for vice president had said multiple times that he was in Hong Kong during the protests for democracy in Tiananmen Square, which resulted in the CCP doing absolutely nothing. Why do people keep bringing this up? You can hear Walz saying this back in February on Pod Save America.
But I was in Hong Kong when it happened. I was in Hong Kong on June 4th when Tiananmen happened.
Yeah.
Quite a few of our folks decided not to go in.
Walz was a teacher for a year in Foshan, located in southern China. But according to local newspaper clippings obtained by ABC, Walz didn't actually travel to the region until August 1989. That's about 2 months after the pro-democracy protests were put down. Of course, this topic came up at the only vice presidential debate of the 2024 election cycle. Walz was pressed to clarify on the news reports contradicting his statement, but what he said was anything but clear.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
The whole incident has created some controversy, which is great because this election cycle just doesn't have enough controversy. And either the CCP is getting bored with going after the Philippines, or that American missile system is intimidating them because now China is going after Vietnamese fishing boats. It seems like China won't be satisfied until the entire world is like-minded against them. The incident occurred in the South China Sea near the disputed Paracel Islands. Chinese ships started chasing the Vietnamese vessels, with the boat's skipper saying the 2 ships had hull numbers 101 and 301. The skipper also said that the ship sent 3 smaller boats to trap his vessel in a pincer maneuver. That led to Chinese personnel boarding the Vietnamese fishing vessel and beating the crew with iron bars, seriously injuring 4 of them, and to add insult to injury, confiscating their catch, which is totally justified and not at all the action of an unhinged cartoon pirate. The boat's skipper said, "I tried to run towards the bow of the ship. However, 2 people held me and attacked me so hard that I lost consciousness. I woke up about an hour later." The skipper later radioed the Vietnamese Border Guard and Maritime Search and Rescue Coordination Center for further assistance. Vietnam has strongly condemned the incident, but China, predictably, denied injuring the illegal Vietnamese fishing crew. And it insists that its crew acted professionally towards the fishermen, because nothing says professional more than beating someone with an iron bar. That's not even professional in professional wrestling. China has occupied the Paracel Islands since 1974 and calls them Xisha. It seized them from the US-backed South Vietnam government during the Vietnam War and maintains that they are Chinese islands, even though originally they were part of Vietnam. Vietnam and the CCP have a very complicated relationship, but also are supposedly dead set on strengthening ties. Apparently by that, China meant tying up fishermen and beating them. I guess that Vietnam is learning the hard way that the CCP is a crappy partner. And remember, Saturday, October 5th is our special 2 million subscriber live call-in show. I'll leave a link below. I want to see you there. And have you ever wondered why Japan is so much cooler than China? Well, I have a video about that on my new gaming channel, so click here to check it out. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.